Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, let us discuss about the topic called timers. So here the diagram shows as a 555 timer. So this 555 timer IC was introduced in the year 1970 by Signetic Corporation and gave the name as SE by NE 555 timer. Okay, so it is basically a monolithic timing circuit that produces accurate and highly stable time delays or oscillation. When compared to the application of an operational amplifier in same areas, the 555 timer is also equally reliable and is cheap in cost. Okay, so apart from these applications, as a monostable multivibrator and a stable multivibrator, a 555 timer can also be used in DC to DC converters, digital logic probes, waveform generators, analog frequency meters and tachometers, temperature measurements and control devices, voltage regulators, etc. So the IC, that means the timer is set up to work in either of two modes, that is one shot or monostable, or as a free running or a stable multivibrator. Okay, so this SE555 can be used for the temperature ranges between 55 degrees Celsius to 125 degrees Celsius. And the NE555 timer can be used for a temperature range between 0 to 70 degrees Celsius. So let us see some of the features of this 555 timer. So the features are it operates from a wide range of power supplies ranging from plus 5 volts to plus 18 volts voltage, and its sourcing current is 200 mA, and the external component should be selected properly so that the timing intervals can be made into several minutes along with the frequencies exceeding several hundred kilohertz. Here the output of a 555 timer can derive a transistor to transistor logic due to its high current output. So in this, it has a temperature stability of 50 parts per million per degree Celsius change in temperature, or eventually 0.005% by Celsius. So okay, so the duty cycle of this timer is adjustable, and the maximum power per package is 600 milliwatts, and its triggered and reset inputs has a logic compatibility. So these are some of the features. So this is the introduction of the 555 timer. So here these timers is commonly used IC design to produce a variety of output waveforms with the addition of an external RC circuit. So next, coming to the block diagram as well as a pin diagram for this 555 timer. So here the 555 timer IC is available as 8-pin metal can or 8-pin mini dual inline package, or as well as we can get it as a 14-pin dual inline package also. So here as you can see here the pin description for the 555 timer. So this timer consists of 23 transistors, 2 diodes and 16 resistors. The use of each pin in the IC is explained. I will explain. So here the pin numbers used below to refer here the pin numbers used as to refer 8-pin dual inline package. Okay, so let us see these pin descriptions. So for first pin, we have a ground terminal. So here all the voltages are measured with respect to the ground terminal. Okay, so pin 2 will have a trigger terminal. So here the trigger pin is used to feed the trigger input. That means the 555 IC is set up as a monostable multivibrator. So this pin is an inverting input of a comparator and is responsible for the transistor of flip-flop from set to reset. Okay, so the output of the timer depends on the amplitude of the external trigger pulse applied to this pin. So here a negative pulse with the DC level generator, then VCC is applied to the VCC is applied to this terminal. Uh, so in this negative edge as a trigger passes through this VCC, then the output of the lower comparator becomes high and the complementary of this complementary will become 0. Okay, so thus the 555 IC output gets high voltage then in a stable state. So next we have the pin number 3, that is the output terminal. So here in this output terminal means the output of the timer is available at this pin. So there are two ways in which a load can be connected to the output terminal. Okay, one way is connected between the output pin, that is pin 3, and the ground pin, that is pin 1, or between pin 3 and a supply pin, that is pin 8. Okay, so the load connected between output and the ground supply pin is called normally on load. Okay, and that connected between the output and ground pin is called the normally off load. Remember, the load connected between output and the ground supply pin is called normally on load, and that connected between output and ground pin is called normally off load. Okay, so next we have a pin number 4, that is a reset terminal. So here what happens is whenever the timer is to be rest or disable, a negative pulse is applied to the pin 4, and thus it is named as a reset terminal. Okay, so here the output is reset irrespectively of the input condition. So when this pin is not to be used for a reset purpose, it should be connected to the positive VCC to avoid any possibility of false triggering. Okay, so next we have a pin 5, that is voltage control terminal. So this pin here we have a threshold and a trigger levels are controlled in this pin. So the pulse width of the output waveform is determined by connecting uh, by connecting uh, by connecting a POT or bringing in an external voltage to this pin. Okay, so the external voltage applied to this pin can be used as a modulate the output waveform. Thus, the amount of voltage applied in this terminal will decide when the comparator is to be switched, and thus changes the pulse width, the output. So when this pin is not used, it should be bypassed by the ground through 0.01 microfarad to avoid any noise problem. Okay, so next we have a pin number 6, that is a threshold terminal. So this is a non-inverting input terminal of a comparator 1, which compares the voltage applied to the terminal with reference voltage of 2 by 3 VCC. Okay, so here the amplitude of the voltage applied to this terminal is responsible for the set state of flip-flop. When the voltage applied in this terminal is greater than 2 by 3 VCC, the upper comparator switches to the plus voltage saturation and the output gets reset. Okay, so next we have a pin 7, that is a discharge terminal. So here this pin is connected internally to the collector of the transistor, and mostly a capacitor is connected between this terminal and ground. It is called discharge terminal because when transistor saturates, capacitor discharges through the transistor. So when the transistor is cut off, the capacitor charges at the rate determined by the external resistor and the capacitor. So last pin, that is pin number 8, which is called the supply terminal. So here supply voltage of 5 volts to plus 18 volts is applied to this terminal with respect to the ground, that is pin number 1. Okay, so let us see about the this is the about the pin description of the 555 timer. So now let us discuss about the block diagram of this 555 timer. Okay, so this is the block diagram of this 555 timer, as you can see here. So here 555 timer has two comparators which are basically two operational amplifiers, an RS flip-flop, two transistors, and a resistive network, as you can see here. So here resistive network consists of three equal resistors and acts as an voltage divider. Okay, so comparator 1 compares a threshold voltage with reference voltage plus 2 by 3 VCC volts, and here the comparator 2, that is operational amplifier, that means op amp 2 compares the trigger voltage with reference voltage plus 1 by 3 VCC volts. Okay, so output of the both comparators is supplied to the flip-flop. So here the flip-flop assumes its state according to the output of the two comparators. One of the two transistors is in discharge transistor, of which collector is connected to the pin 7. So this transistor saturates or cut off according to the output state of the flip-flop. The saturated transistor provides a discharge path to the capacitor connected externally. So another transistor is connected to the reset terminal. Here a pulse is applied to this terminal, resets the whole timer irrespectively of any input. Okay, so now let us see about the working principle. So by by discussing about the working principle, we have to look at the block diagram of this 555 timer. So here in this diagram, as you can see, the internal resistor acts as an voltage divider network, providing 2 by 3 VCC at the non-inverting terminal of the upper comparator and 1 by 3 VCC at the inverting terminal of the lower comparator. Okay. So in most applications, the control input is not used, so that the control voltage equals plus 2 by 3 VCC. So here upper comparator has a threshold input, that is pin number 6, and uh, and a control input pin number 5. Okay, so output of the upper comparator is applied to set input of the flip flop. So whenever the threshold voltage exceeds the control voltage, the upper comparator will set the flip flop and its output is high. So here a high output from the flip-flop when given to the base of the discharge transistor saturates, it discharges the transistor that is connected externally to the discharge pin 7. Okay, so the complementary signal out of the flip-flop goes to the pin 3, the output, and the output available at pin 3 is low. These conditions will prevail until a lower comparator triggers the flip-flop. Even if the voltage at the threshold input falls below 2 by 3 VCC, that is upper comparator cannot use the flip-flop to change again. Okay, so it means the upper comparator can only force the flip-flop output high. Okay, so to change the output of flip-flop low to low, what happens is the voltage at the trigger input must fall below plus 1 by 3 VCC. So when this occurs, the lower comparator triggers the flip-flop, forcing its output low. So the low output from the flip-flop turns the discharge transistor off and forces the power amplifier to output as high. Okay, so these conditions will continue independent of the voltage on the trigger input. Lower comparator can only cause the flip-flop to output low. So by this, from this discussion, what we have concluded means uh, uh, for having a low output from the timer 555, from this 555 timer, the voltage on the threshold input must exceed the control voltage or plus 2 by 3 VCC. Okay, this also turns the discharge transistor on. So to force the output from the timer high, the voltage on the triggered input must drop below plus 1 by 3 VCC. So this turns the discharge transistor off. Okay, so in this a voltage that means a voltage may be applied to the control input to change the levels at which this switching is occurs. So when not in use, what happens is 0.01 nanofarad capacitor should be connected between pin 5 and ground, pin 5 and ground, to prevent noise coupled onto this pin from causing a false triggering. Okay, connecting the reset pin, that means pin 4 to the logic low, will place high on the output of the flip-flop. So the discharge transistor will go on and the power amplifier will output as a low. This condition will continue until the reset is taken high. So this allows the synchronization or uh, resetting of the circuit's operation. Okay, so when not in use, reset should be tied to plus VCC. Okay, so this is about the working principle of a 555 timer. So now let us discuss about sorry. No, so let us see some of the applications of 555 timer. So this 555 timer can be used as an stable multivibrator, monostable multivibrator, timer oscillator, and ramp generator. So these are some of the applications for the 555 timer circuits. So let us discuss about the next topic, which is a stable multivibrator. So this that means a stable multivibrator. It is also called as an free running multivibrator. Okay, so here an stable multivibrator can be designed using different types of components. Uh, those are uh, transistors or operational amplifiers. Okay, so if you are wondering what are all the particle applications of an stable multivibrator is used, so one of the most common application for the stable multivibrator is to generate time delays. Okay, for example, let us say you want to turn an LED on for 1 second and keep it off for 0.5 seconds. Okay, so in that condition, you have to use an stable multivibrator because an stable multivibrator is the best circuit you could use it to build in this application. Okay, so unlike the monostable multivibrator, this circuit does not require any external trigger to change the state of the output. Okay, so hence the name is called the free running. Um, before making to the that means before you going to make the circuit, make sure you have to see that the 555 timer is working. So here an stable multivibrator can be produced by adding a resistors and capacitor to the basic timer IC, and the timing during which the output is either high or low is determined by externally connected two resistors and the capacitor. Okay, so let us see the circuit diagram of an stable multivibrator. So this is the circuit diagram for the stable multivibrator. So here an stable multivibrator can be designed by adding two resistors, that means RA and RB, and a capacitor C to the timer IC. So the to the 555 timer. Okay, so these two resistors, that means RA and RB, and the capacitor C are selected appropriately so as to obtain the desired on and off timings of the output terminal, that means pin 3. So basically the on and off timing at the output, that means the high and low state at the output terminal, is dependent on the values chosen for the resistors RA and RB and capacitor C. Okay, so let us see the connections. So the connections are so the pin 1 is grounded. Okay, here the pin 1 is grounded. Pins 4 and 8 are shorted and then tied to the supply plus VCC. Output V0 is taken from the pin 3. Pin 2 and pin 6 are shorted and then connected to the ground through the capacitor C to ground terminal. Okay. Pin 7 is connected to the supply plus VCC through a resistor RA, and between pin 6 and pin 7, a resistor RB is connected. So at pin 5, either a bypass capacitor of 0.01 0.01 is connected or modulation input is applied. Okay, so now let us see the working of this stable multivibrator. So this stable multivibrator, as you know, is designed by using a 555 timer. So in this circuit, some pin connections are made. So let us see this the working. So to explain this 555 timer stable multivibrator, um, here we have an internal circuit diagram of 555 IC consisting of two operational amplifier, an SR flip-flop, and the transistor connected to the discharging terminal of pin 7, along with the necessary external connections RA, RB, and C. Uh, here RA, RB and C waveforms from the output terminal V0 to pin 3 is shown here. So here what happened is the basic objective of the stable multivibrator is to switch the output status from high to low and from low to high. So at the desired time intervals, that means without any external intervention. Okay, so we achieve this by in controlling the discharge terminal pin 7 of IC, that means this 555 timer, through the capacitor C. So inside this 555 timer, this discharge terminal pin 7 is connected to the collector terminal of a transistor whose base is directly connected to the output terminal. That means a non-inverting terminal, let us say Q of SR flip-flop. You have to notice that Vout, that means pin 3, output terminal of a 555 timer, is taken from the inverting output terminal. Okay. So inverting output terminal of this SR flip-flop. So what happened is when the flip-flop output Q is high, that means when the flip-flop output, that means non-inverting terminal Q is high, Vout will low, and when flip-flop output is low, then Vout will be high. Okay. So as you can see, this is the block. Yes, these are some of the internal connections. Okay, so this is about stable multivibrators, and these are some of the signals which output signals are here. And now let us discuss about next topic, and that means the next applications of 555 timer, which is monostable multivibrator. So this monostable multivibrator is also called as a one-shot multivibrator, is a pulse generator circuit in which duration of the pulse is determined by the RC network connected externally to this 555 timer. Okay, so in such vibrant, one state of the output is stable while the other is unstable. So for auto triggering of output from unstable state to stable state, energy is stored by externally connected capacitor C to a reference level. Okay, so the time taken in the storage determines the pulse width. So here the transition of output from stable state to unstable state is accomplished by external triggering. So here the schematic of 555 timer of monolithic monostable mode will be occurred. Okay, so as you can see, this is the circuit diagram for the 555 timer of a monostable multivibrator. So here what happened let us see the pins description. So here pin 1 is grounded, that means a triggering input is applied to the pin 2. In unstable condition for output, this input is kept as a plus VCC. To obtain the transition of output from the stable state to the unstable state, a negative going pulse or of an arrow width, that means a width smaller than expected pulse width of output waveform, and an amplitude of greater than plus 2 by 3 VCC is applied to the pin 2. Okay, so output is taken from the pin 3. So pin 4 is usually connected to the plus VCC to avoid accidental reset. So here pin 5 is grounded through 0.01 microfarads capacitor to avoid noise problem, and pin 6, that means a threshold, is shorted to the pin 7. Here a resistor RA is connected between pins 6 and 8, and pin 7 is a discharge capacitor connected, while pin 8 is connected to the supply voltage VCC. So coming to the operation, when the output pin 3, that which is low, that means the circuit is in a stable state. Okay, so the transistor is on and the capacitor C is shorted to the ground. So when a negative pulse is applied to the pin 2, what happened, the trigger input falls below plus 1 by 3 VCC. Okay, so the output of the comparator goes high, which resets the flip-flop, and constantly the transistor turns off and the output sorry, turns off and the output pins 3 goes high. Okay, so this is the transition of the output from a stable to unstable state. So as the discharge transistor is cut off, the capacitor C begins changing word plus VCC through the resistance RA with a time constant equal to what say RAC, that means resistor RA and capacitor C. When the increasing capacitor voltage becomes slightly greater than plus 2 by 3 VCC, here the output of the comparator 1 goes high, which sets the flip-flop. The transistor goes to saturation, thereby discharging the capacitor C, and the output of the timer goes low. Okay, so when the output of the monostable multivibrator remains low until a trigger pulse is again applied. So likewise, the cycle repeats. Trigger input, the output voltage, and the capacitor voltage waveforms can will be shown here. So these are the trigger input and the output waveforms are here. So yeah. So this is for the today's topic for triple five timer, and also the applications of triple five timer, which are a stable multivibrator and the monostable multivibrator. Okay, I hope you understand this lesson. Thank you.